It's January 26th and I'm back. I've had a few weeks off over Christmas. Might or might not have been to Florida. I don't know. But we're back and we're back on the Anglia. I had a bit of time to sort of think over Christmas about what direction to start going in first when I started working on it again. What I want to do really is get the engine onto the mounts and make sure all that fits and all that's going to be hunky-dory. Once I know that that works, I can then drop the front subframe, get that sent off for powder coating, get it all tidied up, get it all put back together. Once I'm happy with that, then what I want to do is really get on with the chassis. So I still need to get some wheels, still need to decide, what size, what I'm going to go for. I'm in a bit of a catch-22 situation in that if I get wheels, I've then got to build arches to fit over them. If I get the fenders first, then I've got to make wheels fit the fenders. Either one, will work. As you can see, I have now cut the motorcycle over fenders off. I've treated myself to a new angle grinder, which has made very, very light work of it. No guard, because everyone knows guards are for people who, don't like to take risks. I love to take a risk, so no guard makes things a lot faster. So yeah, what I need to do is I need to tidy all of this area up, cut all these jagged bits metal back off, and then once it's all cleaned up and done, I can have a look, make sure that this is properly welded up and sealed, get some acid etch on it to stop it flash rusting whilst I'm doing the rest of the work. And then what I need to do is move on to the air suspension, which when I first took this on, thought it might be a little bit more simpler than it is. I've now got both front and rear air shocks off, so I can see what I'm dealing with. This is the front shock. It looks like this bottom section is a complete homebrew. This section here that bolts onto the front wishbone, it's way too wide there, so there was washers in stacking it in to make it fit basically. But I think what I'll probably do is remake this bottom section myself, because the RX-8 bottom section, you see how these tabs come out at an angle, they're just straight down on the RX-8, and I think if I put an RX-8 front shock on, there's going to be too much angle there, whereas at the moment it sits like that, it's going to sit too much of an angle there, which won't allow the top mount to come in properly. Now the top mounts, again, they're not too bad. The bearings sound pretty good in them. I've no idea what make the airbags are. Looking at the shock and the colour of the collar, I'm guessing these are D3. It's not a brand that you see much anymore. I'm not even sure if they still make air suspension. And I'm not sure what this bottom section would have been off to start with, but they have front right, front left on them, so they are obviously air suspension parts. So what I need to do really is strip all this down, have a look at the shock absorber, and then see if I can find an equivalent, probably BC Racing part, which will replace this. So then I know I've got good shock absorbers in there. I'll probably replace these bags just because they do look a little bit worn, a little bit tired, and I'm not convinced they're big enough for the front anyway. But yeah, that's it for the front. So as I say, no idea what any of this is off. Once I've stripped it down, I can have a look at this top mount and maybe see if I can get a part number off it, or figure out, what that's for. I guess I need to replace it. Now the rears. Now I thought that these were a mix of RX-8 and BMW and some other bits, but anyway, I've now got them off. This bottom section, that is welded into that, so I'm guessing that is homebrew. This bottom cup section there is a sticker on it, and it reads Audi, and then it's worn a bit, and it says Avant. So I'm guessing they're probably off an A4 or something. These bits. No idea about the shock. Again, that might be Audi. Back airlift, which is surprising. They're looking pretty good nick, to be fair. But again, once I've stripped everything down and had a good look, I'll know a bit better. Top mounts, haven't got a clue. There's bits drilled out, cut out. They don't pivot, so they're definitely for a rear. But again, I need to get them all stripped down, have a look at them, see what's happening with them, and figure out where I go from there. At least with the airlift, it's got a part number on it, so it's a 5814, whatever that means. Again, once I know what these parts are, I can probably replace them with BC and get something, use an RX-8 bottom section and a shock that's going to be long enough to accommodate, because anybody who knows the rear end on the RX-8, I didn't know this until I started looking at suspension. The suspension is really short on the back of the RX-8, probably about half the length of this. So yeah, that's that. Other bits I've done, mentioned it also, I've cut all the arches off, still need to do the front fenders. I've taken the windscreen and the rear glass out. When I was taking the rear shocks, I thought, I can't be asked to be climbing around in back of car to get to those 13mm bolts. So I thought, well, just take the glass out, because that way then I can just go through back window. So that's what I've done with that. I've also bought a steering column. The steering column that was on it before was from a Sierra, I think, but it needed replacing. It all needs redoing, does that. So I bought Corsa C electronic power steering column, and I've ordered one of the little controllers from Portugal for it that everybody uses. A lot of people use them on Cortinas and other sort of homebrew kit cars and track cars and things like that. So once we've cracked on a bit with the engine side of things and the chassis, then what I will start doing is I'll move on to the inside, to the dash area, start figuring out where we're going to attach the steering column. What I'll need to do is weld a bar straight across in some position, and then once that's in place, I can build everything off that. So the center console, things like that. But other than that, yeah, we're back on with it. If there is anybody out there who might want to lend hand making a set of over fenders, or fender flares, should I say, to replace ones I've taken off, give me a shout. I don't have an English wheel. I did look at buying one, but then I thought, well, even if I do get an English wheel, I've still got to learn how to do it. So it's a lot. That's going to take a lot of time and skill to be able to make over fenders for this. But again, I need to get wheels first, really, and then I know exactly how big the over fenders need to be, or I get the over fenders off the peg. I've seen a company in America that do, which I'm looking at, get them offered up, and then I've got to find some wheels and order dishes, which will, bring them to the edge of the lip nicely.